Welcome to Pocket Reporter Pro. This video will explain some of the basics of Pocket Reporter and show you how to set up your properties ready to be inspected. All of the main screens have a help button which will launch tutorials like this one. For now, let's get started with the settings. Tap the cog icon to display the settings screen. Starting with the simpler settings, the default state and default country will be filled in automatically when you add a new property to your iPad. These values are particularly important in regions where specific report formats are required, as the app will change the formats for you automatically. The next routine period setting allows you to specify how regularly you inspect your properties. When you create a new inspection, the property's next inspection date will be set this many months ahead. Quick Check mode provides clean, undamaged, working, and keys checks, which display on reports as yes/no values. Red Nightingale recommends you do not use Quick Check mode unless the ingoing format for your region requires the quick checks to meet the legislative requirements of that document. An optional tutorial on quick checks on the inspection screen will explain further. The photo placeholder setting will depend on how you intend to add photos to your reports. If this setting is off, then the iPad will start the inbuilt camera or ask you to select a photo from the device. If the setting is on, then the iPad will automatically put a numbered marker into your report. When you have finished the inspection, you will be able to upload photos from your camera or iPhone using the Apple Camera adapter, and the app will instantly match your photos to the placeholders by the order they were taken. There will be more on placeholders in the inspection tutorials. Ingoing and outgoing reports will always have maximum quality images attached. Routine inspections, however, don't really need the same level of quality. In particular, if you intend on emailing your routine inspections from the device, you should reduce the image quality by sliding this left. The text below the slider will give you an indication of the size the final report will take, but it is only an indication. If you attach a lot of photos, you will get a large report, regardless of the quality of the images. Tapping the logo here will launch the image picker and will allow you to select your office logo from the iPad. Getting the logo onto the iPad can be achieved through iTunes PhotoSync as follows. Connect your iPad to your computer and select it in the devices list in iTunes. Click on the Photos tab. Check the Sync Photos From setting and select a folder on your computer. Place your office logo into that folder. You can now click Apply or Sync to send it to the iPad. Once the image is synced, you can go back to the PRPro settings. Tap on the logo, select Photo Library, and then tap on the image. Managers are the users of PRPro on the iPad. Add a new user and set their name and email address. If you have multiple managers, then the one with the running stickman is the current user. You can set a new user as the current user quite easily. The links at the bottom of the settings screen take you to the Pocket Reporter FAQs, which answers some common questions about Pocket Reporter, a YouTube channel which contains this and other tutorials, our Twitter feed, and our Facebook page for Pocket Reporter. We'd love to get some feedback here, and it will be the first place we announce exciting new developments for Pocket Reporter. Tapping Done takes you back to the property screen where every inspection for PRPro begins. Before you can inspect a property, you need to add it into the app. It's a quick process, and once complete, all the inspections will be kept with the property. Add a new property by tapping the plus button in the top left corner. This will create a new property. Populate the state and country from your settings and display it for you. Start by setting the street number and tap Next and enter the street name. If a suburb you need isn't showing in the picker wheel, hit the plus button and add it with its default postcode. The suburb and postcode will then be set for the property. If the suburb is already in the picker wheel, then just select it and the postcode will be set. You can change the state and country if you'd like, but for now you've done everything you need to begin inspecting the property. There is some optional information that you can set on this screen which will make the app easy to use and also make your reports richer. The first is the inspection date, which will default to today when you add a property. If you want to organise your inspections, you can set their dates and they will be grouped in the property list for you. You can set a cover page photo for the property by tapping here, but it can also be set during the inspection later. If the address is recognised, it will become a blue link here. Holding down on the link will open up maps, allowing you to see where the property is and get directions. Adding owners to the property will allow you to easily email reports to them, as well as keeping track of their contact information and keeping notes about them. The very first client you add to the app will automatically take you into client editing mode. Set the client's name in the name box and tap Next to go to the new phone item. Start typing a phone number to add one to the client. You can change the type of the number by tapping on the type and selecting the new one from the options. If you tap Next without entering a number in the new phone item, then you will be taken to the new email item. Start typing an email to add one to the client. You can add multiple phone numbers and emails to a client. While in edit mode, you can change the details and delete them from the list. General notes are editable notes about the person. These notes can be changed over time and can be very useful for inspectors. Contact notes are permanent once recorded and are time-stamped, so you know exactly when you spoke to them about an issue. Enter the information and tap Done to add a new note. Tap Done on the keyboard without entering a note, or tap the Done button in the top right corner to finish editing the client. You can review any client's details by tapping their accessory. You can go back into edit mode by tapping the Edit button in the top right corner. You can send an email to an address by tapping on it in the list. Click outside the client popover to hide it again. You can add a lease for the incoming tenants for the property. Tap the Add Lease button and set the start and end dates and finally the Done button. You can edit an existing lease by tapping its accessory. Once a lease has been added, you can add tenants to the lease. Adding a new client after the first one will give you the option to search the existing clients you have already added to the app. If you find the client, then tapping on their name will add them as the tenant or owner. If a client hasn't been added to the app yet, then tap the New button in the top right corner to create a new client and enter edit mode. There are a couple of final important pieces of information about the properties list. The first is that the standard list only shows properties that are set to be inspected from today onwards. This means if a property's inspection date falls into the past, they won't automatically show up. That's where the search comes in. Tap on the search and type any part of the address and the matches will show up instantly. If you ever add a property accidentally or find that you no longer need a property, you can delete them by swiping across the property in question and then pressing the delete button that appears. Once a property is deleted, it is completely gone, so this should not be done lightly. PRPro is fully rotationally aware, so you can work with your iPad in portrait style. The difference is that instead of having the properties list down the left-hand side, it is hidden. The button at the top will show you the list, and from there it works exactly the same as in landscape mode. When you've entered all the information you need for a property, it's time to begin inspecting it. The Property Inspections button in the top right corner will take you to a list of inspections for this property, where your next tutorial awaits.